Hello and welcome to News Center. I'm Parikshit Luthra. Over 9 lakh candidates across 317 Indian state seats had appeared for the first part of the University Grants Commission's National Eligibility Test on Tuesday. The examination determines the eligibility for junior research fellowship, PhD programs and assistant professor posts. Little these candidates know that a day later, the Education Ministry would scrap the exam. The government's rationale: the exam's integrity may have been compromised. A CBI probe has been ordered. This is the first centrally conducted public exam to be scrapped after the centre introduced a new anti-paper leak law. The National Test Agency, which is in charge of conducting the exam, is already facing heat for alleged irregularities with relation to NET, which is a single-window entrance test to all MBBS programs in India. The issue has already transformed into a major political slugfest. Several student wings of political parties staged protests outside the Education Ministry in Delhi. Shivani Bazaz gets us more from the protest site.
Well, the alleged paper leak issue that started with the NET medical entrance exam has now reached the UGC-NET exam and has led to full-blown political protests across the country. Students are protesting outside the Ministry of Education here in Shastri Bhavan in New Delhi. As you can see behind me, a lot of students are sitting on protesting against the cancellation of exams and the alleged paper leaks. They're also demanding the resignation of the Minister for Education, Dharmendra Pradhan, and also attacking the NTA, the body responsible for conducting exams. Well, as you can see, a lot of anger amid students, especially after what happened with the NET examinations. 1,500 students with grace marks. The grace marks were cancelled and they were asked to take the examination again. So clearly full-blown protests on. Congress has also announced that there will be a nationwide protest on Friday. At the moment, the matter is being handled by the CBI now. That's what the Ministry of Education is saying. We'll have to wait and watch for what happens in this matter. Back to you.
लगभग 9 लाख बच्चों ने पार्टिसिपेट किया था। 19 जून को यूजीसी को मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर के इंडियन साइबर क्राइम सेंटर कोऑर्डिनेशन सेंटर I4C से कुछ इनपुट मिले। उस इनपुट को प्राइमा फेसी देखने से मिनिस्ट्री को ये अपीयर हुआ कि देयर इज अ चांसेस दैट एग्जामिनेशन हैज बीन कॉम्प्रोमाइज्ड। टू taking a very prompt action and with an aim to ensure student interest, the ministry has decided to cancel the examination. Next day of examination जल्दी ही कन्वे कर दी जाएगी और इसके साथ ही मैटर को सीबीआई को भी रिफ़र कर दिया गया है ताकि जो भी पॉसिबल अगर कोई ऐसा इन्वॉल्वमेंट है तो सभी लोगों को उनको खिलाफ कार्रवाई की जा सके।
Let me now go across to R Subrahmanyam, former Secretary of Higher Education. We're also joined by Mr. Abhayanand, Bihar's former Director General of Police, somebody who was the founder of Super 30 and has done a lot of work in mentoring people from underprivileged communities prepare for competitive exams across the country. Mr. Subrahmanyam, if I can begin with you, do you think the root cause of all of this, be it NET or NET, is the fact that you're holding an exam of this scale with pen and paper?
Sorry. Yeah.
Mr. Subrahmanyam, if you can hear us, do you think the root cause of all of this is that these exams, be it NET or NET, are being held with pen and paper?
Absolutely. I think, this particular issue has been debated several times in the past, as early as in 2017. And having assessed the relative risks of both this examination, NTA, in fact, the Union Cabinet has approved NTA to conduct only online examinations. This particular decision has been taken after assessing the high risk that is associated with the pen and paper examination. So now it's, of course, as far as NET is concerned, the ministry, which is the owning department, Ministry of Health, they refused to go for an online examination for reasons which are, of course, best known to them. And I'm sure they have taken a very considered decision. As a result, the threat of leakage in this very, very crucial examination clearly looms large every time you conduct an examination. In fact, we used to say that the NET is a Ram Bharosa exam. because you don't know what would happen, because there are so many leakages. It's just waiting for anybody to just hack into the system. And what is most saddening is to see that the NET, UGC-NET, which has always been an online examination, I was told that this year they have taken a decision to convert it into a pen and paper examination. So this really, really sort of saddening, because fully knowing the risks involved in this, a decision has been taken to go to a pen and paper examination, and I think it's not good.
Right. Very important points there. Mr. Abhayanand, could you give us a sense, because police forces across the country, even in Bihar, have investigated previous cases of paper leaks. So when you have a competitive exam of this scale, when you've got 24 lakh students across the country appearing for a NEET-like exam, 11 lakh appearing for a NET exam, what are the points where the exam paper can be leaked or a compromise can actually take place? And what do you think about the investigation that is now underway? One at the end of Bihar police in the NEET case, and one at the end of CBI in the NET case.
As a policeman, when I say it, although I must admit my inability to understand things from the education point of view, because I've never been in that field, except while I was teaching students, poor students. But the way I see it is an interaction between man and machine. There is a human element and there is a machine element in the whole process. Whichever way it is, even when we were students and we were appearing at competitive exams, there used to be less of machine and more of men. Even then, we would hear, not so brazenly, but we would hear paper leaks and offenses, irregularities, not as brazen as this, but yes, to some extent. So the thing that comes to my mind is offenses are being committed, whether you have in the mix, you have more of machine and less of men, or other way around. Offenses are being committed. Whenever offenses are committed, the approach of the state should be get hold of the offenses, investigate them very fast, and punish the offenders very ruthlessly and very fast, so that the impact is such that nobody dares to commit that offense. Otherwise, you can, as the cliche goes, change the system or improve upon the system. And I've been hearing for, now that I have retired 10 years ago, so 47 years now, I've been hearing this in the system and out of the system. It doesn't really work. You keep changing the system and the system finds ways and means of creating holes in it. So the answer that I take it as a policeman with that experience is an offense gets committed, get hold of the offender, prove the offense against him, and punish him exemplarily so that the others don't feel like committing of similar offenses. That's how I look at it.
Right. So set a strong example with the justice delivery system, something you had focused on in your tenure as well. Speedy trials, speedy convictions, and strong punishment. Mr. Subrahmanyam, coming to you. Now, over here, you've got students protesting outside the Education Ministry. In the NEET case, there is a question mark, uncertainty being faced by 24 lakh students. In the NET case, 11 lakh students are facing uncertainty, and these are difficult exams. There are students who are preparing for a year. These are not very easy exams. These are not procedural exams. It's difficult to get ready for them, and it's a mental setback as well. What is the immediate relief that can come from the side of the Union Health Ministry and the central government?
I think they have to really look at the system. You know, the current system is completely of pen and paper is a thing of the past. Across the world, everybody has switched over to a very, very foolproof, fraud-proof online system. And I think we should not look back. We are talking about digital India, and we are pioneers in it across the world. We have constructed. We have got great softwares which are completely tamper-proof. I think we should just adopt that and not let any scope for miscreants to get into the system, because all the time people are trying to tamper with the system. So our system should be one step ahead, and then have a very, very, and it is possible. It is not that I'm making a statement. It is possible. It has happened. You look at JEE, I think it's extremely well done, and there are no complaints whatsoever. So we can further better on this. So I look at that the solution lies in reforming the system rather than, of course, punishment should happen, but more importantly, the system should be such that it should not allow any offense to be committed.
Right. Mr. Abhayanand, if I can come to you, you've been dealing with students, you've been teaching students for a long time now. Of course, there are culprits in the system, people who benefit through unfair means. But how does this deal a setback to students who are from underprivileged communities, their preparation, their economic resources? How does this affect the youth of the country, according to you?
Complete demoralization. Because I have been dealing only with students 15 years into my service and then after service. That is 15 plus 10, almost 25 years. These children do not have any money with them. They have sharp mind. They know their mathematics. They can do physics and chemistry as well. So that is why I don't pick up students from the NEET area. One, I do not know biology. But the second part is, there is a lot I have heard about NEET. I do not know why it is happening. NEET, when it was called AIPMT or something. I never touched this area of medical teaching, because as a citizen, even when I was in the police, I was hearing a lot about the hanky-panky that went on. I do not know why traditionally medical thing has been the way it has been. As your person there, he said JE did not witness anything like this, except once in 1997. And they took a very fast action. At least their reaction was very fast. It was cancelled. Here I can see the reaction being, ठीक है, हो गया है तो CBI करेगी, or maybe the Supreme Court will step into it. Why can't you do it? It's your baby. Even if it amounts to throwing the water with the baby, bathing tub with the baby, throw it away. There is no other go except cancel the test and do it again.
Right. Important points there made by you, sir. Let me go back to Mr. Subrahmanyam. Mr. Subrahmanyam, now, when it comes to holding these exams online, you've said that Cabinet a few years ago had given the approval to NET to carry out the NEET exam online or hold competitive examinations online. Why do you think this was not done? And did the Health Ministry, did the government ever tell the Supreme Court over the past few years that these exams can be held online? Was this ever given to court in an affidavit?
Yes, absolutely. So the cabinet, when it has approved the National Testing Agency, it has clearly mentioned that it will conduct examinations of global standards only online. So on that, there is absolutely no doubt. But they also said that the departments which are owning the examinations, their views also should be taken into account. So then the Ministry of Education has approached the Health Ministry. There was a discussion. At that time, they basically said that, no, you see, this is Supreme Court monitors the NEET examination. So we will not be willing to take any risk. Supreme Court may strike it down. Then we at the time it was suggested by the ministry that you file an affidavit before the Supreme Court that they would like to go online like JEE. So that was not done. So the ministry was very firm that it will be pen and paper examination. So we didn't want to push the matter further because they are the owners of the examination.
Right. Important points there. And clearly, we do need reforms immediately when it comes to the education system, examinations like NEET and NET, and probably make sure that all these exams happen online and not offline. Mr. Abhayanand and Mr. Subrahmanyam, thank you very much for joining us on the program. We've run out of time, but this is an important story that we'll continue to track very, very closely here on CNBC TV18. We're taking a short break, but don't go anywhere. We will get you an important discussion. The World Economic Forum report highlighting energy transition momentum slowing down amid rising global volatility. A discussion with Roberto Boca when we return.